Hey, welcome to episode 3 of the Midnight Barn. On this episode, I have Chelsea and Sheridan from Flick Chicks podcast, and we have a lot of fun. It's a great interview. I do have to apologize for some of the video because it does cut off a lot of Chelsea's face and half of Sheridan's face through some of it. I recorded on Skype, and I guess you learn from your mistakes, and I did, so I know what to do next time. So I apologize to both of you and the viewers for that. But it is a very good episode, and I think everyone's going to enjoy. So there you go.
It's Watermelon Whisper.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 3 of the Midnight Barn with Zach Slusher. I am the second part of that, obviously, or I wouldn't say that. I've had some beers tonight. It's my birthday today, and so I might get a little buzzed on the show. It's only my third episode. I don't got shit to ruin so far. It's my third episode. It's too early to ruin anything, right? But let's get to our guests. We have the co-hosts of Flick Chicks podcast. We have Sheridan and Chelsea.
Hi, I'm Sheridan.
Hey.
I'm Chelsea. And we know we sound the same. It's fine.
And you know, I listened to your podcast, and I don't remember what episode it was, but you guys talked about how a lot of people didn't know who was who. And
Yeah.
then when you said that, then I started listening. I was like, holy shit, they do sound exactly alike. But for some reason, I think there's a little bit of a pitch change, and you can
Yeah.
tell. But yeah. So yeah, you guys should check out Flick Chicks. Very good show. It's mainly horror movies now. It kind of started out with a mixture of different types of movies, and then kind of moved to horror, right?
That was like one of those things where we kept just like wanting to review scary movies. We kept like trying to find excuses to like review a scary movie.
We kept
So-
kind of, hey, one day we were just like, I think we were texting or we were both at the same time. We're like, you want to just do horror?
Yeah, like that's just
Yeah.
that's our genre. So we
Yeah,
just,
right.
you know,
Me
so
too.
I think it's fun. And there's
Yeah.
I really enjoy movie review podcasts, but like horror podcasts specifically. I really like talking about awesome stories about special effects and all that. So I just think that they're like just like the most fun genre to talk about.
Yeah, it is. I mean, there's a long history of it too. You got plenty of movies you can talk about that people has never heard of. Like, I never heard of Microwave Massacre until we did it on our Trash Blood Horrorcast.
Oh, wonderful.
And I was disappointed. The cheese was there. There were certain elements that were there, but the movie just kind of fucking sucked. But it had its moments though. Have you guys seen The Greasy Strangler?
No.
There you go. Watch that. You have to watch The Greasy Strangler. Have you? Do you like Tim and Eric by any chance?
Oh, I love Tim and Eric,
Yeah.
dude.
If you like their style, you're gonna like The Greasy Strangler. It's like the main star kind of reminds me of Eric, and it's super weird and super funny. But anyway, so yeah, check out the Flick Chicks. It's an awesome
Yeah.
podcast. We enjoy. And so before all this quarantine and coronavirus shit started happening, what were you guys doing? I guess before you knew you had to be quarantined or had to be safe, and what were your plans? What did you guys have going on?
So before quarantine, I am a dog groomer by day. I like go and do
that's
haircuts
awesome.
on cute dogs all day.
Dogs
So-
are my favorite thing in the world. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I was just, I was doing that. I was going to right before quarantine, I went to the Renaissance Festival. I was like out doing stuff. I'm in a D&D group, and we were meeting up every Wednesday for D&D.
Yeah.
I was doing a lot of stuff with a lot of people, actually.
Mhm.
And then, weirdly enough, like I got crazy sick in the middle of March.
Oh,
Like,
really?
right before quarantine happened, I got crazy sick. And I freaked out. I was like, oh
I
my
bet.
God, I'm gonna die. Like,
Yeah.
so
Like multiple times during the day, I'm like checking my head, like, am I hot
Yeah.
right now? And then like I'll cough. I'm like, okay, people cough. You still cough. It doesn't mean anything.
exactly, yeah. Well, and like, I was like one of those idiots that was like, coronavirus, like, get out of here, it's
Yeah,
not
at
a
the very
big deal.
first
Like,
I was too, really. I mean, it didn't seem real. I mean,
yeah. And then I got sick and I was like, oh, fuck. So 2 weeks go by and that's when quarantine started. So I started feeling better when everybody like had to be quarantined. So now I'm like feeling better and ready to be out, and like we can't go anywhere. So and my work, obviously dog grooming is not essential. So we were closed for like a month and a half.
Oh, really?
So I was quarantined just like at home. I was just, doing my thing. So, but before quarantine, I was like hanging out with people all the time. It seems like a lifetime ago.
We were just young eggs back then.
Yeah.
So, and it gets more real and real. Like we just found out today that I think either yesterday or the day before, one of our neighbors died from it. And we live out in the country, so our neighbors are he was probably about an eighth of a mile away, but that's close. I mean, that's the one right there that like died of the shit. I mean, I've been taking it seriously the whole time, and it's just for real shit. And like, I heard about that today. I was like, it just got more for real. I'm like, I might die, God damn it.
Exactly. And it's just, I don't know. That's why I just don't understand like the anti-mask thing. Like, just cover your face. Like, in our first episode of season 5 that just came out, we were talking about it a little bit, and just like how embarrassed we are that some people have reacted the way that they have. Like, just no courtesy for anyone. I mean, obviously that's not everybody, but like since being, and well, I guess we'll talk about it, but it's been crazy seeing people's reactions to it.
Because in my mind there should be one reaction, like let's be safe, let's be careful. Yeah, and some people just don't give a shit. Like Memorial Day weekend, people were partying everywhere, and big surprise, the numbers like went right up, and like.
Yep.
I don't know. It's very confusing to me.
It's so confusing. What about you, Chelsea? What were you doing before quarantine?
I was going to like
Before-antine.
Oh shit!
I'm gonna do the thumbnail. Hey, look, my thumb's gone. I'm David Coppermines.
I don't have a fun hand thing. All right, go ahead.
I was just like going to comedy. I actually tried comedy.
Dude, she did her first stand-up.
I heard about that. Yeah, you talked about it on the show, I believe, right? On the podcast. Yeah.
I completely blacked out. I just went up and I talked for 5 minutes. And then they kept like showing me the light, and I was like. Oh, but it was fun. It was a good experience.
Yeah.
Was that did you only do it that one time? Were you able to do any more, or?
I did it a second time at a dive bar, and I got the exact reaction I thought I was gonna get, just pure silence. Sweating.
It happens. Yeah.
Went there dry. I left wet, not in the good way. Bad. And I mean, it was, I don't know, life was pure. And then all of a sudden, Sharon and went to the Renaissance Festival, and then came over and we shared a blunt. And then like 2 days later, I found out I had the same thing.
So we got each other.
No shit. So what was the sickness you guys actually had? Because, I mean, I guess it wasn't, it was Novid.
Well, so funny.
Something different.
So this is funny. At the time that I got sick, there were no tests.
No.
There were no tests available.
0.
Unless you had gone out of the state in the last 2 weeks, you couldn't get a test. So they told me that I had the flu and to just go home. Yeah. So, and they sent me home with like medication or whatever. And they said, you'll be fine in 3 days. Like, just go home.
She had influenza type A.
So I go home and I'm sick for 2 weeks. And
that's a long time to feel like shit.
And I'm talking like in bed, can't sit up, can't eat, kind of shit. Like it was bad. And like I've had the flu before, obviously, but this was like intense.
Yeah.
This was a really crazy flu.
I got diagnosed with a sinus infection, bronchitis, and influenza type A because they didn't. I'm sure it was corona. But like 100%, I still haven't gotten a test.
Yeah, it might be. I mean.
Like, she was nauseated. I was laying in bed literally every night. I had to take a puff of my inhaler. It felt like my throat was going to close up. I was like waking up, choking in the middle of the night, almost like you have sleep apnea. If I didn't have like a spring effect of like, anything wakes me up. But yeah, my friend made sopita and I had some soup and there was a piece of pepper in it and my throat literally just went. I was like in my room choking hard. I was like, fuck. I was going, fuck. Like, I'm trying to say, like, help. No one came. It was like 4 people in the living room.
Sounds like a nightmare, dude.
Finally, I went out when I like did one of these. I was like, you know what I mean? And then And then I walked out into the living room, and Alice, my roommate, was like, "Yeah, it's good, right?" I was like, "It's fucking great. It's fucking great, dude." Like,
It's so good, it's fucking killing me. It's fucking wonderful.
Seriously.
But it was terrible. I had fluid in my it felt like my lungs were burning, and also like my lungs were full of fluid. And it took maybe 4 weeks for it all to clear up. And I still almost for literally almost a whole season, I was like, I sounded like I was going through puberty.
Oh my
Man,
God.
I wouldn't doubt it if you both had it. We think we had it in our house. My fiance's kids went to California at the end of December, came back, and about, I think a few days after that, they got super sick. And then Jill got sick, and then I got sick. I didn't get it as bad as everybody else, but one of the daughters, that sounded weird. One of the daughters had a fever. But she had 104.7 fever.
Whoa.
And we were about to take her to the hospital. I gave her some flu medicine. 20 minutes, it went down to 101. And it was kind of bouncing around.
I was
And
the same way. That's how my fever was. It was crazy high, and then it would go down, and then it would go. I mean, it was insane.
Did you have a thermometer when you had yours? You know what I used? I used a meat thermometer. I was like, fuck.
just stick it in your stomach. Oh, how hot am I? Fuck.
That's all I was like, you guys don't have a thermometer? You know, I was married, so I had everything, you know, except a fucking thermometer. So I had a meat thermometer, and I was like, I wonder. So I ran it underwater, and it went up, and I was like, if it does that, then it must. So I shoved it up my ass, and then
left it up there for 3 hours, and I'm not sure if it worked, but it was a pretty cool situation.
no, it literally said I had like 100. So I just went to bed and I wrapped up like a burrito, and I just sweated all of my body's water out.
Yeah.
And the next day I felt a little bit better.
So that's how we almost died over quarantine. Yep. But yeah, so before it was very different. I think. Well, I got sick 2 days. I got sick 2 days after I went to Ren Fair, so I'm pretty sure it was Ren Fair. I was around like
Fucking fairies
50,000 people that day.
Was there a kissing
Not
booth there?
even
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
A warlock set up a kissing booth, huh? Come hither to my lips.
Oh my God, I need to fucking
Come
do
get
that.
COVID.
I'm sorry about all the sweat on my shirt.
Oh my God.
Hey, so when I went to the only time I've been to a Ren Fair, that's how I found out that my last name is German. Because the guy that worked there looked it up on his computer, and I guess
Yeah.
And I did 23andMe, and it confirmed it. So yeah, guys, I'm the nice German though. Does that still mean there's not mean Germans anymore, right? There's definitely not mean Americans.
I recently found out that my family is almost 100% Scottish.
That's crazy.
Oh,
I
really?
recently found that out. Yeah.
Yucky.
Oh, nice.
No, that's Irish. Okay.
But
Oh, man.
so since you guys have been in quarantine, I keep saying you guys, gals, whatever you want me to call you.
We say guys all the time.
Okay, cool. I usually call like an audience man. Like I say I call everyone man. I'm like man. I don't smoke weed at all.
I call everybody dude, so
Same.
everybody.
I
Yeah.
get you, man. But so since this shit's been going on, is there anything you guys can think of that has like changed like drastically, like in hobbies or habits or anything? Let's start with hobbies. Have you guys been doing anything new, like creative, or just anything new at all, or have you stopped doing anything that you were doing before?
What's really funny is that both of the things that we like to do most require a lot of people in one place at very close proximity.
An orgy.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm a singer and an actor, so like obviously we can't do that. I mean, not like
Right.
not in public anyway. So, but Chelsea and I actually like recorded some songs together.
Ooh, I can't wait to hear them.
Cute. Yeah, I want to post them, but Miss Thing over here
Is this a professional?
Are you
is
bashful? Are you
Yes.
bashful?
yeah. So, but yeah, I try to like do. We have the podcast, which is great. We can still entertain people and like just from home. but I really miss performing in front of people. I miss going.
Yeah. I agree.
That was a huge part of my life, and
It's a rush too when you get up and do that. I mean, I've been doing stand up for a little over 10 years now.
yeah,
I mean, over the last year, I've been about once a month. I've been like chilling out and being 38 years old now. I guess to a certain age, and like I guess I chose my family over the road. So I kind of like when you like focus on comedy, like it is not your career anymore. Like me personally, I have so much more fun doing it. So I can just go up there and say whatever the fuck I want, not worry about getting booked somewhere else. But I miss that being on stage though, like you were saying. I miss the interaction with the crowd. I miss seeing my peers, like other comedians. I miss, that when you have a great set and you get off stage, like it's just, there's no feeling like it. And like, I miss that adrenaline rush. And that's why I'm trying to stay busy with, I got like 3 projects going on now. You're on one of them right now. But
we've just been trying to do the same thing. And like, I feel like, a sense of the community was lost a little bit. Like we still have social media, thank goodness, to like, we can still do shows together kind of through video calls and stuff like that, but obviously it can't replace like being in a room with a bunch of people and sharing like having a shared experience. Like I miss that a lot. So and I just I want everybody to be safe, obviously, and I'll quarantine as long as it takes, but I just really want to go to a concert again.
I know, me too. Yeah. What was the last concert that you two went to before the quarantine?
So it's funny, the Saturday night before I got sick, I went downtown to a club called Crescent Ballroom, and they were having, it's called the Groove Theory. It's like a bunch of local musicians that come together and just have a jam session. They just jam for like 3 hours. And I actually got to perform with them a couple months ago, but I saw this like collective of different artists from Phoenix, and it was so awesome.
Nice.
I feel like Sheridan just does it. You know what I mean? I just sit at home and I play a lot of video games.
Right.
I like to be alone, but I like to be around people. I'm just weird. I'm an extroverted introvert.
Yeah. I'm kind of the same way. Yeah.
But I mean, I did a lot of graphic design, and then I just like really, really came to a halt. I was selling a lot of art, and then I just felt like, I don't know, I want to make really, really grotesque, creepy stuff. And a lot of people are like, I need this thing and I need you to make it. And I understand because that's the business, but it's not your style. Yeah. So that's changed for me. I've been making a lot more, like I've been trying to do a lot more like drawing and painting and like scribble art, and, like just dirty, nasty stuff. I don't know.
It's cool, dude.
Yeah, it's fun.
I did my first painting, by the way. I don't know. I posted it the other day. Do you guys watch Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt?
I don't.
Mm-mm.
Okay, well, this is Cowboy Titus. I don't know why I decided to
make
this.
My God, it's beautiful.
Look at the rainbow. Look at the birds in the back.
Yeah, check out them birds, man. Hell yeah.
Is that a sky or an ocean?
That's a sky. It's supposed to be a sky. The 12-year-old said she thought it was cool.
I love it.
I'm almost 29 and I think it's great.
I love it.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
But my fiance was like, just if you're gonna paint something for me. And like Titus is one of our favorite people of all time. So I was like, I want something to do with Titus. And there's Cowboy Titus for no reason at all. So
yeah, dude. Oh, man, I've actually been working on a painting too. My space one.
Yeah.
I have this big just square of wood just like sitting in my house, and I'm like, what am I gonna do with it? And I decided to paint like a space scene on there. So I have space, but I don't. I painted a UFO and then I didn't like it, so I painted over it, and now I don't know what to put. Still trying to figure it out, but I think it'll be cool.
Yeah, that's what this painting was a piece of wood laying around. Because I'm in Arkansas in a field. I just live in a field and chew on grass. Like, Arkansas. But so we have a bunch of wood left over from making fences and all that shit. So I just like buzzsaw. Is it called the buzzsaw? I don't know. But yeah, just cut up a bunch of canvases and paint on them. And I think for my next one, I'm going to do Pinhead from Hellraiser, He's going to be going
Yes.
like that, and he's going to say, "Yay, sports!"
Oh my god! Oh my god!
I love that.
I don't know why that's it, but that's it. You know.
That's some money right there.
So, hobbies during the pandemic. You said you were doing music and stuff before. What are you doing now that you're more, I guess, at your house and not being able to get out much?
I watch a lot of movies. That's like all I do. I love movies. I love scary movies. I've watched a lot of scary movies in quarantine. So,
Me too.
which is awesome because horror, I've said before in the podcast that like horror is very new to me relatively. Like I didn't start getting into it until I was an adult because like when I was a kid, obviously like I'm not gonna fuck with that. That's scary, you know? And I didn't like it and I thought it was weird and gross. And then when I went to film school, I was like, my eyes were opened and I was like, had this whole new world of like, this whole new genre that I had. So like, it's only been in the past like 8 to 10 years that I've really like dug deep into the genre. So I'm always looking for new shit.
Was Evil Dead one of those opening your eyes type of movies?
Oh, okay. So
I don't know what I just said. Opening your eyes type movie. That movie you watch with your eyes open.
I watched A Nightmare on Elm Street when I was really young, and that influenced me a lot because that was almost so ridiculous that it wasn't scary because Freddy is so crazy. He's not like he's scary in the first one, but like he's just kind of a crazy otherworldly character. So I never thought he was too scary. So that was like a defining horror movie for me that I was like, oh, horror movies can be like fun to watch, you know, like.
Yeah. Well, the later Freddy movies, it's basically just like an open mic or like, hey, hit record on the camera.
Exactly,
Freddy's got a notebook like, stick around. So get it? You know?
Yeah, I would say that that Nightmare on Elm Street, Evil Dead, Halloween, and Scream are like 4 movies that kind of defined that kind of
watch Scream again.
Oh my god, it's so good. It's so good.
It is, yeah.
It's like the perfect slasher.
That's my shit.
And then and then like obviously as you graduate and you watch other horror, you start getting crazy and like if you would have showed me some of the stuff that I'm watching now when I was a kid, like I would think that I'm psycho. Like, I've seen some shit, and I love it. Horror is like my favorite genre now. I can't get enough of it.
Never covered teeth.
I've never seen that. Have you seen that?
It's a good movie. It's a good flick. Yeah.
Have you?
I remember. Well, yeah, because me and my friend in high school, we like. Well, I didn't fuck. Oh, can I cuss? Are we cussing? I don't know.
Yes.
Shit.
I didn't do that.
This show's for kids. Stop saying naughties. All right, so we are rolling again. Where were we? Chelsea, what were you saying?
So I didn't fuck in high school.
Oh yeah, you didn't.
So I didn't fuck in high school. That's it. That's all I wanted to say.
I always told boys, I was like, I have teeth down there, and I just.
I'm getting my braces taken off next week.
The other lip.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and then I found out that movie came out, and I was like, no fucking way. And I looked at my friend, and I was like, were you in this movie? They didn't even call me. Like,
they didn't even try to call my ass.
But that's how it did for me.
It's a good movie though. I enjoyed it. It's been a while since I've seen it, but if you just like know about the movies like Teeth, a movie about an eating vagina. You think of like trauma movies, you know, like Toxic Avenger and stuff like that. Like that's what I thought. And then I watched it, I was like, oh no, this is actually a really good movie. But
okay, yeah, I really gotta see it. It's on my list for sure. It's on my list.
And if you guys haven't watched What We Do in the Shadows on Hulu,
I have that.
Or the TV series.
You would love it. You have to watch it. It's
in my top 3 favorite shows now.
I got a new car recently and I named it Jackie Daytona.
And she just.
Oh, nice.
Honestly.
I'm her best friend and this is the first time hearing it. So
because I just decided.
it's
She's been waiting for the
Thank you.
show to announce the name of her car. I mean,
I think it's a beautiful thing.
You know what? There was no new episode this week though. I don't think. Is it over?
I watched a new one. Yeah, we watched a new one. Wait. You know, it comes out tonight at like 2 a.m. Yeah.
Oh,
One of my
okay.
favorite parts is though when she meets Gregor and she calls his name is Jeff, but she can't
Jeff?
say Jeff.
Yeah.
Jeff.
Jace.
You know?
Oh my
Anyways,
God,
watch
that is
that
the
show.
best.
It's amazing. Top
I
3
love
favorite
that.
shows for sure.
Well, I'm excited.
It's my favorite vampire movie of all time. Like
Aw.
hands down, my
Oh
favorite.
yeah, I love the movie, but I actually like the TV show better. Like
Oh, really?
it's so good. Yeah, but
Oh,
so
funny.
Chelsea, what about you during this quarantine? What hobbies or what have you been up to? I mean, you said you played video games a lot.
Yeah. I got really into Warzone, Call of Duty Warzone, because like I've never played a game where I feel like every second I'm gonna die. And that's it. I got pretty good at it. So I don't know. I played that for a minute, and then and that was kind of during when I had probably COVID. I don't know. And then Animal Crossing happened,
Yes.
and then I got lost in
I haven't played that yet. I keep hearing people talk about it, and I see what it is, and like I guess it's fun. That's what I keep hearing.
It's
It's
But
just
it
a
looks-
fun.
It's a farming game.
Okay,
It's
yeah.
Stardew Valley, if you've ever heard of that, I don't know. It's like it's just farming.
I'm like not so much into like the first person shooters and like the competitive aspects of video games. So like this is good for me because I just get to like walk around and like, build my house and like whatever.
Yeah, right.
Catch some fish. So
I've just kind of been discovering myself a little bit. Just kind of like every day. I have to work from home, so I'm here all the time. I've really bonded with my roommates' dogs, and I've gotten to know my dog on a deeper level, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I know what type of lick is what now. Like, she licks the air, and, like, she's hungry.
Yeah.
No, but honestly, I've been doing not a whole lot. But I did start dating someone, which I feel like is the cliche, because like who should find someone they really, really care about during the fucking quarantine? But I have known this person for a really long time. But it's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. Life's pretty good. Just I don't know, just a lot of self-reflection. Being alone, I really love thinking. Obviously, I think I have ADD or something. But really having this time to think about what really matters in life, I think it's a blessing. I think the quarantine was terrible and also wonderful because
Yeah, I totally agree.
so many of us suffered. So many people we know really, really, really suffered during this time. But I don't know, you really rely on other people to make connection or to make decisions. And like, I don't know if you have heard of this show or not. I hope. But there's a show that just came out, same creators of Adventure Time. It's called The Midnight Gospel.
oh yeah, that's a great
Oh,
show.
I've been meaning to watch that. I haven't seen it yet, but yeah, I know what it is.
I'm not
Grab your tissues.
I'm not kidding when I say every single episode is like a really inclusive, like introspective.
Existential chat.
Lesson.
Yeah,
It's
for
like-
sure.
Really?
The biggest thing that I took away from this is number one, how to grieve, because I have lost a lot of people recently. And number two, how often all of us hold on to hope instead of living.
Yeah.
I hope I get that promotion. I hope I make her happy. I hope I,
Right.
he's what I want. Things like we think about all these things we hope for so often. We just forget to live. And I'm just like, man, I need another blunt, and I'm going to get in my pool, and I'm going to think some more because I don't know. I just feel like during this time, a real opening happened in my brain.
I mean, it's easy to take everything for granted when you don't have that threat that we have now. You're like, okay, I hope to do this, I dream to do this, and I'm gonna get to that. Just when. But now that like this is happening, it's like, fuck, am I ever gonna get to any of it?
Exactly.
And fuck, it sucks, man. It's like I'm lucky to be where I'm at. I am in the country. I have a great family. Like we get annoyed every once in a while, but 95% of the time we're all getting along.
Totally.
And it's been cool not working for a couple months.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, it's
I can't
I don't know.
relate. But
I can.
for me, the quarantine's been just fine. I mean, I'm scared. Like I pretty much go to the grocery store when I need to, and I go to the dispensary to get weed.
Yeah.
And now I don't have to go to the grocery store because we found out the other day that Aldi does delivery. So now we're having groceries delivered to us. And like,
I gotta start doing that.
Same.
I'm just scared to go anywhere now because like I've heard recently of people getting it that have been being safe. They've been wearing a mask, wearing gloves, and that's what I've been doing. But people are still getting sick. So I'm just going to stay put for a long ass time. And luckily, I'm more introverted than I used to be. I used to be out all the time, you know. I used to be a big drinker. Now I've cut it down quite a bit. I still like to get a beer or two, but it's like where I'm at in my life is the perfect time for when this shit happened.
Totally.
Like I wish it wouldn't have happened, but like I'm lucky to be where I'm at while this happened. If this would have been 10 years ago when I was a total alcoholic and just fucking crazy man, then it would have been a whole different story. I might be sick or gone by now because I don't know. It's it's crazy, right?
It's a crazy world.
It's crazy time.
So what about has your diets changed at all? Like have you been eating more unhealthy, healthier, or?
I'm back to work now, so I'm unfortunately back to a lot of my old habits, but when I was quarantined, I was like getting up early. I was making my bed. I was reading a book. I was making breakfast. I made myself 3 meals a day and like snacking in between. I gained probably like 10 pounds, which I'm trying to do anyway because I'm such a tiny little person. So it was great. I was like going to the store and buying really healthy food and whatever. When I was working, my job is like super physically exhausting. So the last thing that I want to do when I get home from work is cook.
Right.
And like have to go to the grocery store and whatever. So I would eat out like pretty much for every meal all the time. But during those like 2 months, I saved an ungodly amount of money, like realized how much I was spending on just food. And I'm trying to like keep that habit going, even though I'm back at work, like, because it's a good habit that I picked up that I don't want to lose.
Yeah, it's super hard. When this first started going on, I think the job I was at, I was driving most of the day. I do like home inspections and stuff like that, but it was mainly like driving. Yeah. And you drive by so many fast food places and you're driving like 8 hours a day. And you're like, well, I can just stop and get a burger real quick. Stop and get a slice of pizza from Casey's. And it really adds up. And then when I got in quarantine and I'm not working at that job anymore, I lost like 10 pounds like in 2 weeks. And now I've probably gained like 15 back. But I've been focusing on cooking. I've been cooking so much good stuff. Yeah. Like I've been making like each week I make a new burger that like I name. Like tonight I was making my burger, my birthday burger, and it was gonna be the Muy Slushiente because my last name's Slusher, and it was a cheeseburger with roasted bell peppers, jalapenos, and onions. And when I was taking those out of the oven, I dropped it on the ground. The glass shattered and the peppers were all over the floor. So we just had regular bacon cheeseburgers. It was good, but I wanted that Muy Slushiente pretty fucking bad.
That sounds good as hell. That's a total like Bob's Burger right there. Like,
I have so far I have that the blue cheese and onion burgers. I don't know why I called it this, but it's what popped in my head. I'm calling it the goiter. I got the sloppy slusher is a barbecue one. The slush room and cheese. You know what that is, really. But that's where my life is. What do you do? I make burgers and name them after myself.
Perfect.
You guys are like champions. I'm like, when I did go to the grocery store, I bought like all of the Hostess things. all of the chips.
Yeah.
But I lost weight. That's what's blowing my mind is like I ate like a champion, just a fucking piece of shit. And I lost like 15 pounds. So I don't know. I'm probably sick.
Get the slow vid.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I cooked a lot of soup. Like, man, we were making some mean soups, just slurping it up. I
love homemade soup. I don't do that anymore.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's unexplainable what I can't speak on the things I ate. It's just or came out of me. It was very violent. But I'm back to, I don't know, I like kind of going to a lot of fast food places because I don't know. When I would go to here's what changed. Here is what changed, people. When I was going to fast food places before the corona pandemic, I was eating cheese and everything and dying. Now I go
That's
to
what I do.
and I'm like, I can ask for this without cheese, right?
That's a possibility.
But you already had a fast food place. You might as well get that fucking cheese, man.
No. I go there and I'm like, hey, I can get this without cheese, right? And then they're like, yeah. I'm like, fuck yeah. And then I take it and it actually tastes pretty good. I just put hot sauce. I substituted cheese with hot sauce.
And it doesn't still?
Not as much.
Man, I was thinking about it recently that like I can't really think of a fast food burger joint that I don't like. That's like I don't know if it's the stoner in me or like the cheeseburger in me, but like I can't really think. It's like what's a fast food cheeseburger? They're like, no, that's fucking gross. I like Burger King. I like Wendy's. I like half of McDonald's. It's like I can't think of like burgers I don't like. That's
true.
how freedom I am.
I'm trying to think if I mean, I won't refuse a burger from anywhere, basically. If someone's like, let's go to Whataburger, I'm like, all right. If someone's like, let's go to In-N-Out, I'm like, all right. Like, I mean, and like, I don't really have a favorite either, though. Like, they're all just like a good burger, you know? Actually, no, wait. I lied.
I've never had a Sonic burger.
No, Whataburger has a green chili burger that is like the fucking. It's like
yes, it's so
it's
freaking
amazing.
good.
No, I said Whataburger.
Yeah,
Whataburger.
No. I'm just saying. I didn't know.
Yeah, Whataburger. Yeah.
Look at us discovering.
Look at us. I ate one in front of you, dude. Like.
Ate it right in front of you, man. Shit.
Listen, when I have food in my hands and I'm in front of anybody, the world disappears.
Me too. Holy shit. So I make all this food and like it's mainly because I really want to eat it. I'm like, what am I gonna make that I really want to eat? And like I hear a lot of people say that they spend a bunch of time making and prepping the dinner, and then after they make it, they just don't want to eat it. And like I'm the complete opposite. I was like, no, I'm right there, like ready to eat immediately. Like I'm not gonna waste all that time just so I can feed people. Shit, man. Do you guys have? You guys are in Phoenix, right?
Yeah.
Do you have a Brahms in Phoenix?
No.
I think it's more of a Midwest thing. Brahms has good burgers. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, all right.
This is turning into a burger talk show.
I was trying to think if like in North Dakota, but that's not Midwest. That's North. So here we are.
Man. So what was the next question I was going to ask you? Fucking weed. You damn weed.
Is it story time? Or is
yeah, it's about that. Before then, what are your plans to do? Do you have any big plans for when this is over?
Orgy.
There you go.
I'm just kidding. I get nervous. No.
Did you get my Facebook invite? No. Post-apocalyptic orgy.
You know what? The first thing I'm gonna fucking do, I'm gonna go to the movies, bro. I'm gonna go to the fucking movies.
I want to do that, and I want to go to like a good restaurant, like a good. Speaking of food, sit down restaurant.
I want to get sushi. Dude.
Oh, I miss sushi so much. Oh.
I had a delivery the other day. Sorry. I was like, DoorDash, I don't fucking care. $50 extra, sure, it's fine. Corona bill. Corona has blessed this mess.
Bless this mess. What about you, Chelsea? What do you have any plans for when everything's good to go, and if it is going to be good to go? I'm sure it eventually will, but what do you think you're going to do? What are you thinking you're going to the first thing you're going to do when you get out there? When you get out there in that damn world, what are you going to do?
Honestly, I'm probably I've been thinking a lot, and there's certain local companies and certain people that I want to put all of my art into. Okay. One of my best friends, he has his own clothing line, and I want to get more into that. And then my friend, his sister, I want to help her out. And I just feel like sometimes if you have one solid graphic designer who also knows a wealth of information, shit can pop off, and there's a lot of money in that. So
Right. Oh yeah.
I want to do that. I want to release. I have an album that I've been trying to release with my guy for like 2 years, and I think it's finally going to happen, and it's really
We're
cool.
gonna make music together too, though, bro.
Yeah, I also want to get back on stage. I haven't done that in a long time. I want to perform. Just being on camera is hard for me because I have like really bad body dysmorphia. I have self-image issues. I think everybody does, but like mine have been really bad, but I'm getting better at it. Like I said, quarantine has really helped me like learn how to love myself. Like I can look at myself butt naked in the mirror and be like, today
Nice. Oh yeah. Yeah.
we're gonna do things. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll take you out on the town. And then I drive to the gas station.
You're beautiful.
Well, that's good. I mean, I'm glad there's a positive that comes out of it. Like most people I talk to, I mean, there is the negative of, you can't do anything and all that, but most people I talk to, there is a positive going on with this. I was shooting a bug. I wasn't trying to virtually slap you.
I saw it, I was like, Mothman.
So yeah, before we get to the stories, each time I have a guest on here, we have the guest tell a story that like sticks out in their head. That's like, it can be happy, it can be sad, it can be crazy, it can be whatever you want. But before we get to that, where can people follow you, and where can people listen to Flick Chicks?
So you can follow us on Instagram. Our Instagram is our main page where we post all of our schedule and the posters when we release an episode and stuff. And that's Flick Chicks Official, right? Flick Chicks Official. We are also on the Slasher app, if you've ever heard of it. It's
I'm on there too. I kind of forgot about it. Yeah, it's mine's really glitchy. I don't get on there that often. I like it. I like what it is because it's all a horror movie, but it's always glitchy when I get on there. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, no, you're good. You can find us on there. We're Flick Chicks Official on there too. If you want to follow me, you can find me on Instagram, your Goliath Pal. And then what about you want to plug yourself?
If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's lunar_waifu.
And season 5 of our podcast just started. We release 10 episodes every Monday. And you can find it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, like wherever you.
iTunes.
I'm bad at plugging the podcast. Whatever.
Just Google the motherfucker.
Yeah, Google us and you'll find us. We are out there. So.
Awesome.
Yay.
Alrighty. Well, let's get to some stories. You want to get to some stories?
I want to hear yours. I want to hear yours, dude.
Okay, so this is a recent story I thought, and it just happened 2 days ago. And it's the craziest thing ever. So I'm just gonna call him my boyfriend because I hate saying that. So, or the other thing, but my boyfriend tells me that he's with his daughter, and there was a squirrel in his backyard, and it was like probably lost. Its parents abandoned it. And it was trying to come back into the yard. Well, he's got a pit bull, sweetest dog, but they like to play with little things, and of course
dogs really hate squirrels. Yeah.
Well, they are. So naturally, the squirrel came back. His dog got a hold of it. It was a horrible scene, right? It was just terrible. And he called me and he was really upset because who wants to see anything like that? And then I, we were good. I like brought up his spirits and stuff. And then, okay, here's what happened. Same exact day. So maybe like a couple months ago, there was a pigeon that fell out of its nest. And I don't know. I felt like I got to be its mom now. So instead of like keeping it, which I really wanted to, he was so ugly too. Fucking bastard. I was like, I gotta put him back. So I went across the street to our neighbor's house and I borrowed his ladder, and then I put some gloves on. I put that bird right back up in his fucking thing. And he stayed up there forever. He didn't even leave the nest. So what happens? 2 days ago, mom and dad, right after he tells me this story, his mother and his father kick his ass out of the nest again. He breaks his wing. Okay.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he's a hopeless loss of just feathers. And so he's hopping around. I'm like, this is unbelievable. And my boyfriend's like, hey, this is your chance at redemption. This is it. Like, I wasn't able to save the squirrel, but you can save this bird. And I was like, fuck yeah, babe. Yeah. Like, I was like, I put my gloves on again. I picked him up. I'm like, hey, bitch, remember me? And he's like, oh, you know, and I'm like, so yeah, I mean, he's in.
Bitch, remember me?
Like,
Fucker.
did this once already. And like, I took the bird and I have him in my hands and he's looking at me like, thank you. And I was like, you know, no problem.
Oh, yeah.
I brought him through the house and I took him outside. My roommate was holding the door and I put him on the ground and the little bastard, you know, got to the road and he looked back at me, you know, and I was just like, dude, I made sure there were no cars coming. He looks back and I'm like, it's time, dude, it's time. And he like hops across the street and like my heart rested a little bit easier. And I looked back at my roommate. I was like, we did it, dude. And then I turned around and he was in the mouth of two cats running all the way down the street.
Oh my God, they ripped him in half. Okay, did they rip him in half? And
No, they had him one, like they were running with head and mouth, body and mouth.
Whoa, shit.
So then I had to, you know, I called my boyfriend, I was like, hey, and he's like, oh, I'm so proud of you. Like, that was such a noble thing. How did it go? And I was just like silent. I couldn't even talk. And he was like, are you okay? And I was like, I need just a minute. I started crying and I'm like, I fucking saved his life again. And then I put him in the arms of Harm and I was like, I looked away for 1 second. 2 fucking street cats had him and yeah.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Then he asked if we should make that day our anniversary. So I was like, yeah.
Is that going to be the anniversary? Is that going to be the day?
I feel like it should be. I called my mom, you know, and like asked her what she thought about it. She was like, it's meant to be. And I was just like, all right.
Mom, there's blood everywhere. It's love.
At least my parents get it.
Oh, man, that's awesome. Like, and ever since I saw that animal die, I just got the taste, and I'm hunting rhinos now. I'm a rhino hunter. But, all right, well, yeah, thanks for sharing that. That's a hell of a day, honestly, especially if you're an animal lover. Like, I'm an animal lover, and like, I see, like, I'm one of those people. I see a turtle on the road, I stop in the middle of the road, and I like, you know, put it on the sides. I like turtles.
What?
But,
like nothing ever happened.
welcome back to the show. Nothing ever happened. Shannon.
Oh shit.
So, what story do you have to share with us today?
So this happened to me when I was in college. I was living with some friends, but we didn't have a washer and dryer. So I would frequently take my laundry to my mom's house and take advantage of like the empty house and just kind of hang out and do my laundry. And one day I went over there and it was like a Tuesday afternoon. Nobody was home. And I decided that I was going to go swimming in our pool. So I put my suit on. I'm like, yeah. So I go out to the pool and I'm doing laps. And I look up and I see a woman in the house. And she had a yellow dress on with a white apron and like long brown hair. And she was just like staring at me from the kitchen. And I was like, what the fuck? And I got out of the pool and I like rubbed my eye, I like blinked, you know, and she was gone. And I was like, yeah, I was like, what the fuck? And I called my mom. I was like, are you at home right now? And she was like, no, I'm at work. I'm like, I saw somebody in the kitchen. And it was really, really fucking creepy. And that was that's like the one instance in my life that I can think back and like, I still can't explain what I saw.
I think this is why I went over to your house.
It's some weird stuff happens.
So other stuff happens too?
Oh yeah, totally. So like I grew up there basically, and we would almost every night get like woken up by a rattling doorknob or, you know, a door opening or closing, and like it never seemed malevolent, I guess. Or wait, is that the word I'm looking for? It never
Yeah, it was
never. it never felt like a bad thing. It just felt like there was something, you know?
Mhm.
And it
It's,
wasn't like
yeah.
it wasn't like scary like Paranormal Activity, but like there
I'd
were
shit myself.
there still are things that happen in that house where I'm like, oh, it's a joke in our family. We're like, oh, that's the ghost. Like anytime something happens, like he's in here with us. Like it's kind of a thing that we like live with or whatever. He, she, whatever. So yeah. So I'm pretty sure my mom's house is haunted.
Yeah, I know what you mean. The house I grew up in was pretty much the same thing. We had several experiences, similar to that. Noises. My mom saw something. Yeah, and it was basically stuff I couldn't explain. So I just, I call it ghost just because I don't know what else to call it.
Right.
Like I've said on my podcast before, there's an explanation to all of this shit. We just don't know what it is. So like,
Totally.
it's almost like the scientific explanation. That's ghost. Like I've had so much shit happen. Like I don't know what else to call it besides that. And like I understand why people don't want to believe you. It's fucking weird. Like I'm not lying. I don't want to just like make it like I'm gonna tell these people I saw a ghost for years at my house. I'm gonna make such good friends with this person. But
Like, and that's the thing. I don't want that to be like my ghost story, but that's just like a story in my life where to this day, I just can't tell you what the fuck happened. Like I saw it clear as day and then I blinked and it was gone. It was so weird.
and the detail you said, was it a yellow dress?
It was a yellow dress. It was almost like a 1960s housewife type of like frilly dress, like with something like you would wear like a petticoat with.
Mhm.
So it's just, I don't know, it was fucking weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so much weird shit like that happens. And like one of my like theories, I don't know, none of us know what the fuck's going on, but I kind of wonder like maybe there is an alternate, I guess, dimension or some shit like that.
Dude.
Because I think like, what if people are seeing us in another dimension and they think we're ghosts? And they're like seeing us just do like a normal thing, like walk across a room. Like I saw this ghost walk across a room, but maybe alternate universes like came into each other and they're like, I saw a ghost. So like, no, it's just me, a person. But I don't know. It's like,
So I'm trying to get like opening the door, like, oh, they forgot. The other door. Idiot.
moron ghosts. Awesome.
That's really, that's interesting. They should make a movie with that premise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Fucking A. Yeah. Well, awesome. Thanks for being on the show today. This was a lot of fun. It was awesome to finally meet you guys. I've listened to your podcast and talked to you online and whatnot. It's cool to look at you on my telephone screen.
Oh,
I
man,
have a payphone
so
with an
fun.
iPad taped to it. That's what I got going on. But,
we were so excited to be here because like I've like always enjoyed talking to you like on Instagram and stuff. So when you asked us to be on here, I was like, fuck yeah, dude. Like
awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Yeah. If you guys ever need a long distance podcast guest, let me know. I have a lot of time on my hands.
Yeah, dude. Cool. You get to choose the movie.
Okay. Yeah. Just let me know. I'll do that.
Cool.
But, all right. Well, thanks so much for being on, and I'll talk to you later. I'm going to hit stop right here like a big bad baby boy.